Third down and goal. Fields cleans. Back corner. Main Street. He scores!
Well, hello. Welcome into Monsters of the Madhouse Chicago Sports Podcast. We are so happy to have you guys with us tonight. And thank you for tuning in because we have a lot to get to. I'm so excited. This is always one of my favorite times of the year right now because this Sunday with the game and everything going on, we're going to cover it all for you guys tonight about the game itself between the 49ers and the Chiefs, the commercials that we're going to be watching, what you guys are going to be doing, what you're going to be eating. That's what's so much fun about it. So thank you guys. I'm Matt Cooper, and I'm very excited to introduce to you CB, who has been here with us the last couple of weeks. CB, what's going on, man?
Not on the road this week, that's for sure.
Dude,
I'm happy to be home.
That hotel, dude, your hotel living life, man, has come to an end after the last couple of weeks.
Well, I'll be there again at the end of the month, so hopefully it won't take that much longer to get done with the school.
Dude, don't tease us, man, with another hotel stay, man. So we look forward to your next hotel
stay.
Hey,
maybe I'll get a jacuzzi this next time.
Yeah, dude, you're right there in the jacuzzi, man. Have that drink right next to you, and we can sit there and talk about why Caleb Williams should be the Bears quarterback as you're chilling in the jacuzzi. Well, it's good. It's good to have you on. And guys, also, it's my honor to introduce to you right now, on for the first time with us, Brian from Louisville, or Mount Washington. I'm sorry, Mount Washington, Louisville area.
Yeah, it's the same difference anyway. It's about 30 minutes away, so it's all good. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, it's a privilege, honor.
Yeah, man, we're happy to have you on here, man. So thank you for very much. We're excited to get you on here. I see you got a Mitch Trubisky jersey in the background. Is that the
yeah? It's kind of whoever you meet kind of thing. And I wanted to meet Mitch in his rookie year. I was really hyped. I got a Justin Fields jersey in there, but it's not signed.
I gotta get my Steelers girlfriend in here to show her the Mitch Trubisky jersey. She'll be MFing everything here after the year he had with them last year.
My fiance's from Pennsylvania. She hates the Steelers.
Oh no, man! Yeah, we don't say those words in our house, man. That's like it's like a religion, as she would say. So,
right.
Well, Brian, man, we're happy to have you on here, dude, and we look forward to having you on here for here on out.
I look forward to being here, and hopefully, we can continue this for a long time.
Yeah, man, cool. And then back with us, a guy that I've known for a very long time, and happy know that he's one of the biggest Bears fans that I know of. Dano Blakes from beautiful Midlothian, Illinois. What's up, Dano?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, we're happy to have you back with us.
Ready to talk some Super Bowl.
Yeah, dude, I mean, we couldn't have a show without our biggest Matt Nagy fan on here. I mean, how could we? So we for that alone, Dan, we're happy to have you on here. So just as you would say, Dan, be you, man.
I think that's about the only way Nagy gets a Super Bowl ring anyway.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, man. He definitely went back to the Chiefs at the right time, didn't he?
Go backwards into it.
How's that for karma?
Yeah, like he gets blown out. Just come back with us, man. We're going to put you with Patrick Mahomes, and we're going to go win a couple of Super Bowls. So
you can't beat him, join him.
Right. I think he's made out pretty well. Well, guys, this game this Sunday is very interesting because I hear, we hear everything that with the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. We love to talk about that too. But, I think we really got to look at this game to see the reason why they're there. And it starts with Andy Reid. It really does. Andy Reid has been a staple there when they brought him in back, 2013 they hired him. They brought him in. Alex Smith was his quarterback. So he literally came into a team that wasn't very good for many, many years. And he comes in there, and Alex Smith is he was a good game manager quarterback. Actually, when you really look at it, there's a lot of similarities with Alex Smith and Brock Purdy when you really look it down and break down the stats, even though I think Brock Purdy might be a little bit better. But I feel like they're kind of the same. So he's like, you know what? No, we got to go out. Let's go get this. We need to go get the quarterback. So Patrick Mahomes, we all remember that draft. We see that Trubisky jersey in the background. We remember Trubisky being drafted that year, and then Patrick Mahomes going way down in the draft. But Andy Reid and the management there, they saw something in him. And sure enough, here he is all these years later. And I was looking at some of these stats earlier today, guys. I mean, it's pretty incredible. 125 regular season wins since he has been the coach of that team. 8 playoff wins, 3 Super Bowls. They've won 2 of them. They lose 1 of them, but they've still been there 3 different times. So it's hard for me to even start this conversation without talking about Andy Reid. So, Brian, we're going to start with you, man. New guy in the show. I am putting you right on the spot tonight.
Put me right on it.
So don't mess this up or we're going to kick you out. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to be that brutal.
Yeah,
So, Brian,
definitely though, Andy Reid's the catalyst of the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, he's got the whole program in place. Like, it didn't matter which offensive coordinator is calling that shot in there. I mean, calling the plays. I mean, Andy Reid's going to be doing it from now on, I guess, while Matt Nagy's there. But when Eric Bieniemy was there, he's a great offensive coordinator. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, Andy Reid designs that offense. I mean, it works for Patrick Mahomes. They do a lot of that motion stuff that they come in with. And I really just don't think it matters. I mean, who's calling that play? I mean, as long as it's Andy Reid's offense.
You know, Brian brings up a great point, Dano, too, when he's talking about Andy Reid. And some perfect examples is if you watch the Ravens game, and we're going to talk a little bit about the defense here in a second, but some of the play calling in that game I thought was incredible. Because that defense, let's take it here, the Ravens defense was great all year round, dominant. But I thought Andy Reid putting some of those plays in motion with some of the skill position players that they have, and then putting Patrick Mahomes in the way Patrick Mahomes plays, you can't deny that when it comes to a head coach, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, no matter, I mean, he's in Philadelphia, he was great. Comes to Kansas City, brings them to a perennial contender almost right off the bat. I mean, how many look at the coaching tree from Andy Reid too, you know? I mean, I think I could be wrong, but I think Shanahan, McVay, all those guys are somehow tied in to the Andy Reid coaching tree. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's already top 5, maybe, history of head coaches, has a chance to be top 3 of all time.
Yeah, he's going to be in that conversation, especially if they win this game on Sunday. And CB, when you start looking at Andy Reid and where he's come to and what he's brought to the table, and here he is with Patrick Mahomes again. I mean, let's face it, if they go in and win on Sunday, I didn't think there was going to be anything that we can compare to the Brady-Belichick era. But boy, at the age of 28, if Patrick Mahomes goes out and wins this game on Sunday with Andy Reid, that's going to start thinking about being in that conversation with those dominant Patriots teams.
Yeah, it's kind of unfair, isn't it? But it tells you the tale of tape with Andy Reid and the scout teams and stuff that he has going out and evaluating players and drafting well, like we were talking about last week. It's just like if somebody leaves and the next guy up, and honestly, he's a Pro Bowl type player coming up from the second team, and just like the days in Philadelphia, he's got another quarterback. He switched from Donovan McNabb to Patrick Mahomes, and it's just the saga of Andy Reid continues.
Yeah, it's incredible when you look at his history. Even I was looking at his Eagles stats, even the years that he's with the Eagles and the amount of wins that he's had, and I think it's just something to keep in mind when we watch this game on Sunday, because, like I said, all the talk here has just been all about Patrick Mahomes and the players, which is rightfully so. But boy, Andy Reid, to see where he's brought this team to, just got to realize where the Chiefs were before he got there. So we're talking about the game on Sunday, guys. Thank you so much for watching the Chicago Sports Podcast. And you can like and subscribe our YouTube channel. You can also check out some of our past shows on the channel as well. Talking about the game on Sunday, guys. And I think a big reason, we talk a lot about the Chiefs. Let's talk about Kyle Shanahan too. Because Kyle Shanahan, what also he has done with the 49ers has been pretty remarkable. I mean, he's been there for a while now. He's got 64 regular season wins, 8 postseason wins as well, 3 division titles in a very tough division that they play in. If you think about some of those teams in their division, and I feel like he should be getting it because his offensive play calling is very unique, very different, and he's had a lot of coaches that have left him to go get other coaching jobs. So they've had a lot of changeover every single year. So, Dano, when you look at Kyle Shanahan, what's the first thing that stands out to you when you watch the 49ers?
I'm a huge Kyle Shanahan fanboy right off the bat. I mean, I love these things. For a while there, the NFL went to more of a college spread offense. And what Shanahan seems to have done is kind of brought everything kind of in. I think from receiver to receiver, it's like 19 yards. So they kind of bunch everybody in. They use a lot of motion. I mean, I think he's the way he's revolutionized the game, but in the way he's kind of brought back that old like West Coast style too. So I mean, just see that all the coaches that are getting hired now, they're all coming from that Shanahan McVay tree, you know.
It's all the younger coaches.
Yep.
Right. And I mean, all he needs, I think all he needs now is that ring.
Yeah, and
He went to the Super Bowl with Atlanta, right?
mm-hmm.
He had the Super Bowl with San Francisco. Now this one, I mean, he gets that ring. I think eventually we'll be talking about him, maybe all-time top coaches.
And Brian, Dan makes some good points here when you talk about him in going to the Super Bowls here. The last the one with the 49ers in 2020, and then with the Falcons. That game, I still don't know how they lost that game to the Falcons.
28-3
to the Patriots. When you look at his offensive play style, and he's got those players that he wants. He's got the fast and the quickness of Samuel and McCaffrey. That it really starts with the line and McCaffrey, and then kind of branches off from there. When you take a look at Mike Shanahan, excuse me, not his dad, Kyle Shanahan. When you take a look at his offense, how do you think when you look at this game on Sunday, his offensive style is going to help them win that game?
Well, I really think Kansas City's defense is susceptible to the run, and I really think they're going to use a lot of motion with Deebo Samuel, and I really believe that he's the root of all that. 49ers. Without Deebo on the field, I really don't think they have a chance in this game. One point that I would like to bring up is I don't know what's going to happen to Kyle Shanahan's legacy, though, if he actually loses this game. I mean, does he make it to another Super Bowl and also lose it? I mean, if he blows it, I mean, how's he going to be perceived after that? I mean, I really just don't – I can't fathom him losing the game and, still being one of the top tier coaches in this league.
You bring up a good point, but I will also counterpoint with I'll tell you, and I agree, because I think if he loses this game, that could tarnish. But at the same time, if the Chiefs are still starting to build this dynasty and they win another Super Bowl and they keep going on for years, I think that would tarnish that just a little bit, just because you ran into this powerhouse, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the 90s Bulls when you had those really good teams with the Phoenix Suns and the Utah Jazz. The 1 year the Utah Jazz I thought was probably the best team in the league, but when you got superstar player like Michael Jordan and you got a coach like Phil Jackson, that's what you run into. And I kind of feel the same way, and I feel like that'd be the same way with a lot of the AFC teams as well.
Yeah, I mean, but you still kind of look at it when he was with Atlanta or whatever, and they lost 28-3. I mean, that was to Tom Brady, and they still hold that against him.
That's a game I'm still to this day. I can't believe the Patriots came back and won. I really thought the Falcons were going to pull that one off, and it's one of the more memorable ones I've watched.
That's what I kept saying. Everybody was like, this game's gone. This game's gone. I said, the other team still got Tom Brady. This game ain't over yet.
And that's how you feel with this game with Patrick Mahomes.
Absolutely, 100%.
And CB, when you look at this game and we talk about Kyle Shanahan, I guess the first thing we got to bring up is the quarterback play of Brock Purdy. We've talked about him, his games here. He hasn't played great in the playoffs, but when he needed to make some big plays, he's done that, especially the last game. He made those big plays. I think he came through, and I think that's all tribute to what type of offense he's in. I feel like he's put in the right position. I feel like Shanahan puts him in the right position to make those type of plays. So do you think it's going to come down to a couple of big plays from Brock Purdy if the 49ers want to win this game?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the points that I wanted to bring up is, can Brock Purdy stay above the water level, and does he fold in big time pressure? And last game against the Lions, he had a couple of great runs to keep the clock going, and ended up winning the game for him. But like looking at his numbers over the season, they're superstar numbers. They're almost the same numbers as Patrick Mahomes. And honestly, if actually Mahomes had a couple of touchdowns less and more interceptions. But I mean, with Christian McCaffrey being in the backfield, I mean, that's going to take some pressure off of him. But can Brock Purdy stay above the waterline and not fold under pressure? And he did it last time. Maybe lightning strikes twice.
And you bring up some good points, CB, because we're going to talk about that. And I think the biggest reason why the Chiefs are here this year is because of their defense. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But I want to talk to you guys about Sunday. And you're getting together with everybody like all of us. We're going to be watching the games. I want to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy because they are a fantasy sports partner of the Chicago Sports Podcast. Use the special promo code CSP when you sign up at underdogfantasy.com. You'll receive a 100% deposit match to $100 when you use that sign-in code. So get 5 picks right, and you'll multiply your money 20 times. So it's simple, it's fast, you're going to have fun, you're going to have your drink right there with you when you're doing this on Sunday. That is at underdogfantasy.com, the voice of the Chicago sports fan. So, guys, we're talking about the game on Sunday, the Chiefs and 49ers. First off, thank you so much for watching the Chicago Sports Podcast tonight. Monsters of the Madhouse on our Facebook page. You can like and subscribe our YouTube channel as well. Also on Twitter, if you guys, so many different ways that you guys can catch us. The Chiefs are a very intriguing team to me, guys, because the reason why I believe they are in the position they are, listen, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid have a lot to do with it. Their defense has been lights out this year. I was lights out for most of the year, but I saw another stat earlier today when they were putting out some of the games, just how good their defense has been. They have allowed 28 or fewer points a game in every game they've played this year. And that has a lot to do because they have players at each level that are impact players. Christian Jones, I mean, is incredible. They have Gay as their linebacker. They have Snead on the back end, and Justin Reed, who I think is one of the most underrated safeties in the league. He can tackle, he can cover. He's a very good leader. So they have all those type of players and their different position players. Steve Spagnuolo, though, is their defensive coordinator. Now, Steve, if you guys remember right, was the Giants' defensive coordinator, and the Giants were the only team in those years to beat the Patriots. And so here he is with the Chiefs, and he's doing the same thing. He's putting the defense in these right type of positions. So, Brian, when you watched the game last week, and I think this is a perfect example, the Ravens, who I thought were the best team in the AFC all year, I thought their defense really confused Lamar Jackson in that offense all game long. I thought Lamar Jackson, we talked about this last week, he looked confused. He played confused. And was it all his fault? No, because I thought their offensive game plan for the Ravens wasn't great. But I think Lamar also did not play great either. And I thought he made some bad plays, bad decisions. But a lot of that had to do with the Chiefs' defense.
I mean, 100% agree. Lamar Jackson, he just got completely out of his game from what he was doing all season long. For some reason, he was trying to make everything up with one big play every time, over and over again. I mean, he kept throwing the ball way downfield. Would they rush like 6 times the whole game or something like that to a running back? I mean, it was just absurd. I don't know if it was the game plan or Lamar Jackson, but somewhere along the line, they just got out of what they were doing all year. Lamar Jackson, I'm from Kentucky, Lamar Jackson went to U of L. So, I mean, he's never played like that. And they either confused him or confused his offensive coordinator. I just couldn't figure it out. I was like, why is Lamar playing like this? I just couldn't wrap my mind around why he just kept throwing the ball deep and not taking off. I mean, he was, just committed just to get it all back in one play. Something with the Chiefs did. I still don't know.
Well, I think you're right on both parts. I think the offensive coordinator got confused, and I think Lamar Jackson was confused. I think it was a mixture of both, and I think that's all credit to the Chiefs defense. So, Dan,
100%.
Dan, when you watch the Chiefs defense, I mean, to me, I love watching Christian Jones play, man. I think he is a great player. He's going to make a ton of money by some team in this offseason. I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody's going to pay him. He's going to be probably one of the highest paid pass rushers in the league, and he deserves it. The way that guy plays. When you look at that Chiefs, does it start with him?
Yeah, he'd look real nice in a Bears uniform next year. I mean, it's not going to happen, but yeah, it's weird this year because typically when you think of the Kansas City Chiefs, what do you think about throughout the years? Those offenses, right? But this year, I mean, it's just completely flipped. Their defense is awesome. And then to the point of Lamar Jackson's play, what does Lamar Jackson do? Passing, those intermediate passes. So I don't know if Kansas City was taking away the intermediate passes, or they just thought they were going to be smarter than the defensive coordinator. Yeah, it's just I couldn't understand why he wasn't taking more intermediate passes or just always throwing down the field. But yeah, as far as the Chiefs' defense, they're great this year.
And CB, you know, it's pretty funny when you talk about the Chiefs defense. A lot of this has to do because they didn't re-sign Tyreek Hill a couple of years ago, where he got that mega deal, and he should because he's one of the best in the league. I think he is. I mean, he could have had 2,000 yards this year if he didn't get hurt. But at the same time, you see what the Chiefs are doing. They took a lot of that money. They used a lot of their draft picks, and you see guys like Snead and Reed on the back end of that defense, and they've been playmakers all year round. So when you look at this game on Sunday, you know, we talk about Brock Purdy here a second ago, about him making some of the big plays. But do you think it's going to come down to not only Christian Jones, but some of these other playmakers at the back end, hopefully making Brock Purdy make that mistake where they can come away with a takeaway?
Yeah, first thing I'm going to say is if Kansas City doesn't show up Chris Jones, they're stupid. And secondly, I mean, pair him up with George Karlaftis. I mean, he's a game wrecker too. He's like Nick Bosa on the Kansas City Chiefs. But I think that the defense is going to play just like they did against Lamar Jackson and try to force Brock Purdy into mistakes. And it's shown all season long that he can make mistakes. And didn't he have a 4-interception game or a 3-interception game this season?
Ravens, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like they're going to pressure him. And with the game plan that I think that San Francisco should run is go through CMC. If they don't, then Kansas City's going to have the advantage because the way their defense has been playing, I don't know if San Francisco can come out on top with it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting watch, and I've been going back and forth all week when I look at this game and when you look at the strengths and the weaknesses of each team because they do have them. I think the weakness of this game, though, I'm not going to go with Brock Purdy. And you kind of heard Steve Wilks, the defensive coordinator, talk about it with the 49ers. He was not happy the way they played last week. And they didn't play well. Their defense did not play well in that game. They just didn't. And the Lions scored points. Now, they did make some adjustments, and they came back in the second half. But I think a lot of that had to do with the 49ers offense being on the field and taking away a lot of that time and a lot of that clock. And the defense did come away with some takeaways, so that's good. But you can run on this 49ers team, and I think some of their playmakers, when you look at their defense, you know, if you look at it, I was looking at some of these stats. The Bears definitely came away with the right Washington player, by the way. Montez Sweat, we got the right one. If you see what Chase Young has not been good for the 49ers. He's actually been bad. I was reading something where they were saying like they were going to like have his playing time go down just a little bit, but I mean that trade has not worked out. It has not benefited them like you thought that it would be, especially Young on a contract year. He's going to play on a contract year, so it's going to be interesting to see if people are going to pay for him in the offseason. But there's a couple of guys that stand out to me, and I love the linebackers of the 49ers. I love Fred Warner. I think that guy is one of the best in the league. And I think that defense is going to go where he goes and how that line plays as well. So, Dano, when you look at the 49ers defense, do you think they're going to have what it takes to stop Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, like what I keep thinking about is who I would take in this game. I'm not really betting on the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm betting on Patrick Mahomes. To me, it's the 49ers versus Patrick Mahomes, not the 49ers versus the Chiefs. I think it's going to be close, but I don't know. I think Kansas City's going to end up ultimately winning.
Yeah, it is going to be the Patrick Mahomes game. Now, the question is, CB, how are these? Are the receivers? They've been better. The wide receivers. Now, the wide receivers have had a lot of drops this year for the Chiefs, but in the playoffs, though, they've been a lot better. So they got Scatlin, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he's been good the last couple of weeks. We got to give him his dues, and I feel like Rice has actually come on in a big way too. So, how do you see the receiver? I mean, this is the biggest game. If you can't play in this game and you're going to be dropping passes, you probably should be looking for another job next year. So, do you think it's going to come down to some of these receivers for Patrick Mahomes in the game on Sunday?
Well, if if it comes down to the receivers, Andy Reid already said that Tony might have another job after this because I don't think he's a fan of Tony's. But
Anybody a fan of his?
Rasheed Rice, Valdez Scantlin, Nicole Hardman, Hardman. They can come up with some big catches at certain points, and all year round. I mean, they were dropping passes all over the place, but I think when it comes down to it, when it matters most, they've come up big. And I mean, all factors aside, with the wide receivers, you still got Travis Kelce. So
Right.
Yes, you do. How cool, we can't forget. We can't forget our Swifties party on Sunday.
I'm gonna get my Travis Kelce haircut before Sunday.
I hope so, Dan. I
Or he's
hope
bring the fade back, right?
Have you heard that's the thing now? People are asking for the Travis Kelce haircut.
Have you guys seen the sweaters where the Swifties are wearing Taylor's boyfriend with just the number 87 on it? It doesn't even say anything about Kelsey.
I haven't seen that. That's
Oh,
unfortunate.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about. Don't worry, guys. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. See when we're going to get ours.
Wait.
Hey guys, this Sunday when you're celebrating the game, heck, we're all going to be celebrating. I'm going to go around the room here in a second. We're going to talk about what we're going to do, but I'll tell you what, you got to make sure you pick up some El Bandito Yankee for the game. That is tequila from Hall of Famer Chris Chelios Revolutionary El Bandito Yankee. It is smooth, additive-free, 100% blue agave, ultra premium tequila, and it's going to go very nice when Travis Kelce is scoring that touchdown and all the Swifties are going nuts. It's a thirst-quenching taste. You can get yours at elbanditoyankee.com and stock up for that. Thank you guys for watching the Chicago Sports Podcast, Monsters of the Madhouse, whether it's on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, which you could like and subscribe on there as well. As we get ready for the game on Sunday, guys, this is my favorite part because I feel like the game on Sunday, we're all diehard football fans. So we're sitting here, we're going through the X's and O's, and I'm kind of interested to see how it all plays out and see what you guys thinking and what everybody else is thinking out there. But it's an event, and it's one of the biggest party days of the year. I think they always say the day before Thanksgiving is the biggest. You got New Year's Eve, but this is also considered in like the top 5 because all of us go out, we hang out, or we stay at home and invite people over. Now I'm new to Knoxville, so my girlfriend and I, we're probably just staying at home. We'll probably stay at home. I'm gonna go get all the alcohol and all the food. We're gonna cook it up on Sunday. Might have somebody stop by or two, but it'll be home. But we've gone to parties the last couple of years. So Brian, I'm gonna start with you, man. In the beautiful city of Mount Washington, Louisville, you've got one of my favorite breweries in your town, Gallon Fox. And
Oh yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, so that's what I picked up on. I can tell you that's what I stocked up on last year for the game. So what about you, man? What are your plans set?
Honestly, we've been spending a lot of money. Like I said, I got a fiance, so we're very planning a wedding. We're planning a wedding for May, so we're trying to sit back, have some save a little bit of money. But I'll probably go get some wings or whatever. She makes some killer wings. I mean, growing up here in Pennsylvania, pretty close to Buffalo. So she always makes a bunch of wings and makes some wedges and stuff like that. So it'll probably just be me, her, and the dog sitting here watching the game and really dialing in. She's a huge football fan as well, big Bronco fan. I mean, so she can actually hold her own.
Brian, I want you to explain something. You just said the wings, because the wings in Pennsylvania are not the wings that we would, like me and Dan, all of us grew up in Illinois. It's those ginormous wings. Like there's like 2 different pieces of them on one piece of wings.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're massive. They got this one sauce up there, man. It's she's from Sagertown, and it's they got this sauce. It's like a buffalo garlic parmesan sauce. It's all mixed into one. Oh yeah, I mean it's incredible. I mean, I go up there, and they always give her a bunch of crap, saying, do you ever feed this guy? Because I'm over at Harmon some ways. I mean, I got sauce on my forehead. I'm really after it. That's kind of the way I treat it up there.
What
You're
about
making me hungry just listening.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm hungry too. What about your drink of choice, Brian?
Well, it really just depends on which mood I'm in. I'm a beer guy. I mean, straight up beer guy. I don't do the bourbon. I know that's Kentucky thing. I'm supposed to like
Louisville.
bourbon, but
don't say that very loud in Louisville.
I can't take it. So I'm more of a light lager kind of guy. Miller Lite, Busch Light, whatever stuff like that. And that's my beer of choice.
Cool.
They got a excellent brewery down here in Louisville. It's a Mile Wide Brewery.
Oh,
They
yeah.
actually,
Oh, yeah. I used to live right
yeah,
down the street from there.
excellent. The best beer they have, they go on a rotation, and it's really hard to track down. It's actually called Tuck Rule. I mean, it's an extremely good beer. It's nice citrus flavor, a little bit to it. So,
Yeah.
it's excellent.
Great brewery, man. That's a cool
Yeah,
place. Old factory looking building when you go
yeah,
past
it
it and
is.
stuff. So I spent some time there.
Yeah.
Cool. Daniel, man, me and you have watched some games together before, man. So I know you are starting to prepare what you're going to be eating on Sunday.
Oh man, believe it or not, I think it's just gonna be me, Samantha, maybe a couple other people. To be honest with you, I don't even have any food picked out yet.
Oh, come
I got,
on.
dude,
gotta-
I got, yeah, I got to be up at 4:30 in the morning for work, so I got to kind of think. That's why we need to get a petition to have the Super Bowl on Saturday, not none of this Sunday crap when everyone's got to be back to work.
You make
But
excuses about you needing to go to work, and I'm just not buying it. So
it's just gonna be low key, man. We might do some wings, just nothing like the wings you're talking about, but just throw
Brian,
some in the air fryer or something.
I think Brian's putting us all to shame on our wings, man.
Yeah,
So
right.
I don't
It's
know.
not me. I ain't doing it. It's all her.
Yeah, it's right. RCB, I know the big football fan that you are, man, and heck, even a couple of shows here, having a couple of beverages, dude. I know you're going to be starting that day. What about you? What's in your household?
Probably a 12 or 24 pack of Busch Light or something a little harder. But my wife is the bourbon girl, so she's originally from Georgia, so she drinks that stuff straight. But me just probably get some beer, smoke a couple pork roasts or something on the grill, and have some sandwiches and maybe a chip and dip or crackers and dip or something, and chill out at home.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of it this year, because I feel like when it comes to this, you want to hang out with your friends and your family, but at the same time, you don't want to leave your house because you can just go and get whatever you want. Especially when you got a new TV in here, brand new TV. I'm dying to watch the game on with our sound system, and it's just going to be so much fun. But it's funny because you're going to go to the store on Saturday, and this will happen to everybody if this happens to anybody else. But you'll go to the store on like Saturday, it's going to be packed, man. Or going in Sunday morning, like you really got to get your stuff.
Football just hasn't been the same for about 15 years since somebody decided to move away.
Well, I don't know who you're talking about there, Dan, but I don't know who that is.
You guys got to go with the projector and the sound bar and stuff like that. It makes it a whole lot different.
Oh yeah.
I got a 104-inch screen and it's massive.
Oh wow.
Woo, man. So yeah, you
put my 75 to shame. I thought I was big time.
And it costs less than a TV.
Yeah. Yep.
So guys, thank you for watching today on the Chicago Sports Podcast, talking about the game on Sunday. And I think one of the favorite parts, we just went around the room talking about what we're going to eat, kind of what we're going to drink. I'll be drinking I found a couple of breweries down here in Knoxville that I like already, that I'll be getting some stuff from. But also at the same time, everything else that goes into it. Like when you start watching like the pregame shows, because there's a lot of good pieces that usually come out. There's only so much I can watch. I feel like at some point, like maybe an hour or two before the game, that's cool. But if it's like at like 12, 1 o'clock, I'm like, that's a little too much. But like with the pregame shows, I'll start with you, CB. I'll start with you when it comes to your game day experience. Do you look forward to some of the pregame shows? Do you look forward to the commercials? What do you look forward to outside of the game the most?
Oh, definitely the commercials. It's always a good time to have a good laugh at some of the commercials they come out with. Still, the one that is in my mind from a couple years ago is the Jason Momoa commercial, where he strips all of his body fat and everything down.
Oh,
that's still one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I look forward to. I'm not a real big fan of pregame show and all that, but not really a big fan of the halftime show either. So,
well, that was actually what I was just going to get into next. So, Brian, what are you more excited about? The chance of Taylor Swift being up cheering with Brittany Mahomes and Jason with the shirt off, or where you get with Usher and a possibility of a surprise or two guests that will be out there with them for the halftime show.
Wow, it's hard to beat Jason Kelsey with his shirt off, man. It's but yeah,
gotta love the whole lineman, man.
Everybody loved Usher, you know. I mean, it's the way to go. I don't know who the surprise guest is going to be, obviously, but you know, I mean, I'm always tuning in for the halftime show. I mean, back in the day, I mean, you kind of switch in between it, but I mean, they've like seemed to dial it up ever since that little episode after Janet Jackson. They had like 3 or 4 bad years, and it was just, it got a little stagnant after a while, and then, you know, they're bringing it back. So I'm pretty excited about the Usher show myself.
How about you, Dan? I know you, man. I know the music fan that you are with Usher. And what about you? You pumped for the? Wait. Are you more excited about that or the Swiftie party that you're having at your house?
Exactly, the Swiftie party. Actually, I'm taking a little bit of a different direction. What I'm most excited, besides the game itself, is some of the cool parlay bets, or the, you know what I mean? Not the parlay bets, the
Actual prop bet.
Prop bets, stuff like that. You know, I have fun with some of those.
Yeah, I haven't. It's funny you bring that up because, you know, we were talking a little bit about that last week too, what you would do for the game, and I haven't even considered about what I wanted to put down for this yet, or what I haven't even. Like I said, this has been a weird week, like where I just really everything has just been going by so fast. I haven't been paying attention to all the coverage and everything going on, but now that we're kind of getting closer to the game, like especially Friday or Saturday, I'm going to hop on my app and start kind of playing around a little bit to see what I want to do or what I don't want to do. And I don't know. It'll be like a last minute thing. I think that's what a lot of us do, though. Like you either play for all this stuff. I feel like you either play some a couple days before, or you're doing it that day until like the last minute of it.
Right.
When it comes to your bets. So yeah.
Just to remind you guys, if you guys hit on anything, just remember your friends on the podcast.
That's right, man. We'll give you a shout out if you hit on it. We'll tell you, hey, man, Brandon Trax is going to have you on, our creator of this.
I just want to see the over under on how many times I show Taylor Swift.
Yeah, right.
So you know what's funny, guys? To bring that up, now that you brought Taylor Swift, I'm so glad you did, Brian, because I wanted to talk about Taylor here for a second. Her show,
of course you did.
So her show's in her tour starts tonight in Japan. It actually starts tonight in Japan, and it goes to Saturday. And she plays Saturday, and they're trying to now. There's different viral videos out there. They're trying to figure out if she's going to make it in time from the show Japan to the game, which I think they will, because it's at least it's on the West Coast, and I feel like between the time difference, she's going to put that out. So I have a feeling, yeah, I hope so too, man. For all of us, I hope so. But it'll be interesting to see what happens between that. I'll show you what other celebrities are going to be. You know, there's going to be it's in Vegas, guys. So there's going to be a whole bunch of celebrities at this game. There's a lot of people that love the 49ers. 49ers have a massive fan base, kind of like the Bears. Like, I feel like you could put like 10 teams with like these diehard fan bases, and I would always put the 49ers in one of them. And even the first game of the year, my girlfriend and I, when we went to the Steeler 49ers game, we were in Pittsburgh, which is one of the craziest fan bases I've ever been around in my life. I just looked around, like, how many 49ers fans are in this stadium? Like, there was tons of them there. Like they travel well, they're all over the place, and they're diehard. So I feel like there's going to be a ton of them out there in that support for on Sunday, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching tonight on the Chicago Sports Podcast Facebook page. It is Monsters of the Madhouse. And you guys could like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. I encourage you guys to check that out and some of our past shows. We have shows here all during the week you guys can watch, and including articles that were posted up on our Facebook page. Our guy Cleet Campbell, does a very good job on things going on around the Chicago sports scene. He just did a very good article about the trade deadline for the Bulls and the NBA trade deadline, which is coming. I believe that's tomorrow, actually. So be on the lookout for that. Cleet does a lot of that here during the week, and then different shows throughout the week as well, guys. Hey, I want to get your guys' thoughts here as we break away a little bit from the game, because we had another signing. Our old guy, Luke Getsy, found himself a job, and I'm not surprised by that. We kind of talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that there was a lot of teams interested in him, and there was a lot of teams that were interested in him. And I'm like, and I brought this up on our show, guys, that that maybe he was well more respected around the league, and maybe more people around the league thought that it was not necessarily all his fault, and that a lot of it had to do with Justin Fields on our offense because the Saints were involved with interviewing him, and then the Raiders went in and swiped him out. Now, the Cliff Kingsbury thing was a weird situation and kind of threw things for a loop, and he went to the Washington Commanders. But Brian, when you look at that signing for the Raiders, and you heard the head coach of the Raiders, Antonio Pierce, talk about it, how he caught his attention when they beat them. Because the Bears did. If you remember, that was Josh McDaniels. I feel like that got Josh McDaniels fired. Was that game the Bears?
I believe
beat them.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, he got fired a couple of days after that, and he went out of his way and said, "Dude, we love the way he called the game and stuff against us." So, what do you think about Luke Getsy going to the Raiders? And this is a second opportunity for him. Do you think he's going to thrive?
I'm not a Luke Getsy guy. Way too many screen passes for me. But everything that I was hearing from the Senior Bowl and everything like that, from all the reporters that say they were reporting from what they heard from around the league, they were all more of siding with Luke Getsy and saying it was Justin Fields' fault, like you said. So it kind of makes you wonder, what is Justin Fields' trade value at that point? But I mean, as far as Luke Getsy himself, I really just don't think he was able to change his offense to fit a quarterback like Justin Fields. So if he's unable to adapt, I mean, what kind of offensive coordinator are you going to fit in any system? I mean, being any system, he's just not going to thrive.
It's going to be interesting to see, and it's going to be interesting who's playing quarterback for the Raiders too. We don't even know who's going to be them, or they're going to have some changeover. The running back, who I think is actually going to go back now, since Pierce did go back to be the coach. I think Jacobs is going back there. Hey, we got a JB Broad coming on in today. JB, dude, what's going on?
What's up, fellas? I had a client meeting. I got stuck. I couldn't get out of it.
This is when you tell those clients, dude, you're not important right now. We got a show to do. We got to talk about Taylor Swift. So
believe me, I was so close.
Yeah.
I was so close.
JB, now that we got you on the show, man, we were just talking about Luke Getsy getting a second opportunity with the Raiders. And he got hired as their offensive coordinator, kind of a debacle with Kingsbury going to Washington. So you look at Luke Getsy. Brian was not a fan. What about, and I know we've talked about him a little bit, a second chance. You never know what can happen with the right type of situation and players in place. Do you think he's going to have that opportunity in Las Vegas?
Well, you know what? It's going to be very telling either way. Either it's going to be, another chapter in the Getsy train wreck, or, we're going to find out that all of a sudden this guy was a genius, and it was either, Eberflus or Fields, or a combination of both that were holding down his genius. I don't see it. I think that this is a spectacularly emblematic hire of a Raiders organization that is mismanaged worse than most in the league. I think it's going to be very, very very, very telling. He has no cover at this point. If they screw up, it's back to being a water boy.
Oh, water boy. Dano, who was once a water boy himself.
Yeah.
And so your guy, Cliff Kingsbury, ends up ditching the Raiders to go to Washington. And you see all the stories out there like, this guy was with Caleb Williams as his college coach. They got the number 2 pick in the draft. Does this mean they go up? I think it has nothing to do with it. I really don't. I think he kept Cliff. Honestly, I think Kingsbury must have had some type of relationship or saw a better situation with Washington or more money. At the end of the day, it's probably coming down to money, and he probably got a better offer, a better opportunity to go there, and that's probably why he jumped there. So do you see anything behind that with Kingsbury going to Washington, or anything behind them possibly going after Caleb Williams?
I can see how people would connect the dots, but again, what a lot of people aren't connecting the dots to is that University of North Carolina kind of ran that same offense that Kingsbury runs, that spread offense. So we can connect the dots to Drake May there too.
Yep.
That's a good point.
I guess I could totally see why people would think that. Maybe they might be doing. Washington may do that just to maybe try to lure Williams in, but I don't think that means much at
Yeah,
all.
I don't think so either. I really don't. I think that's who if the Bears do not trade that number 1 pick, and I don't think they're going to, I think that's who they're going to go after, is get Williams and get that quarterback in.
Yeah.
So, CB, do you think when you look at these offensive coordinators around the league, you see Kingsbury, you see Getsy, you see others landing jobs, and then we get Waldron, do you think we got the right one when it comes to our offensive coordinator for the Bears?
Well, honestly, you got to say yes. And Waldron was a very, very spicy pick out of all the offensive coordinators. But the one thing I was going to say is I think the reason why Kingsbury went to Washington is because he was demanding 3 years guaranteed. And Las Vegas was not willing to go 3 years guaranteed. They only wanted to go 2. So Washington stepped up their game. They gave him 3 years guaranteed, and he went there.
Do you have any idea what they gave Getsy? Did they give him the 3 years?
Most coordinators get 2 years for the most part.
Yeah. I'm not putting you on the spot. I just don't know.
No. I don't know either. I'd never heard of any of the stipulations, but I just that's what I heard with
Kingsbury.
Yeah. I heard you too about Kingsbury. Now that you said that, yeah.
But that's what it usually comes down to.
Yeah.
But absolutely, we got the right pick with Waldron. I hope him and Fields can strike it off if we go that route, or I hate to say it, Williams might come here. So,
well,
I heard that Waldron was the hottest candidate out of all the OCs, anyways. So, I mean, to be able to land for once, us landing the hottest candidate.
And he got experience. We can't put that past that, too. He's been calling plays for the last 3 years, and I think that's what makes me happy that we got somebody like that. Even if either way, I mean, you go with either one of these guys, but I mean, I feel like he was probably the best fit for our situation. And it's just going to all play out. We got lots of time to talk about it. We got lots of time after the game's done on Sunday to talk about Williams and Fields, and I hope to never hear their names ever again until
so much time we're gonna get sick of it.
Already sick of it.
So we'll have plenty of time to talk about that, guys. Thank you all so much. We got a little bit left here on Monsters of the Madhouse, Chicago Sports Podcast. Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can check that out and some of our old shows, other shows as well. On our Facebook page, we have shows that run during the week that you guys can look at, and everything Chicago sports that's being posted throughout the week as well. And I also want to say to everybody chiming in tonight, like Cheryl, we had somebody from Canada that said Facebook user. So Facebook user from Canada, thanks for watching us. Frank, thanks for watching us as well, guys. So we appreciate that. Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So I want to thank everybody that is tuning in tonight.
Bears fan, eh?
Bears fan, man. We're all over the place, man.
Worldwide, baby.
Even in Canada, man, where they like football too. On top of hockey.
They put their maple syrup on their Polish sausage.
It's Austin Matthews, and then football, everything after that.
But like the end zone is like twice as deep, eh? So there's a lot of room for like catching passes and whatnot.
They don't know what an end zone is. No, I'm just kidding. Hey guys, I want to. This was just coming in as we were starting the show today. As I was getting everything ready, about the Winter Classic is going to be at Wrigley Field in 2025. The
Awesome.
Blackhawks and the St. Louis Blues. I think it's great. You got two of the original 6 teams playing, 2 teams that have been playing each other for years, 2 teams with excellent fan bases. Obviously growing up in Chicago, been to many Blackhawks
and
games.
2 teams that hate each other.
They hate each other. I've been to a couple of Blues games. I can tell you the atmosphere at a Blues game is also very, very intense. So with that being said, I'll start with you, JB. Hopefully by 2025, when we have the Winter Classic, do you think the Blackhawks will be somewhat competitive in the rebuild when we take on the Blues?
Yeah, I mean, you look what happened the last time, when they drafted Kane and Taves. I mean, that was really the catalyst for great things, and it became now a destination for free agents where they, they're blowing in their agents' ear. Hey, figure out a way to get me to Chicago. I think that the gravitas of playing with a guy like Connor Bedard, my God, I mean, he's like 12 years old and he lit the league on fire until he got hurt. So, I mean, by the time 2025 rolls around, I mean, this kid is going to be, a seasoned veteran. He's going to be just absolutely shredding everybody, and this is going to be the hot place to play again. And I think I think he was a huge get, and I think he's gonna really. I mean, I love the word catalyst. He's gonna be the catalyst for another rebuild that's gonna draw talent here, where it was for the past few years kind of a talent vacuum. And I think by 25, you're gonna see a resurgence. I don't know if we're gonna be, in the latter stages of the playoffs, but you're going to see respectable hockey in this city by that year, guaranteed.
Brian, when you think of the history of Wrigley Field, and that's where we're going to have the Winter Classic, that alone, when you're going to see the setup inside and everything that goes into it, how important is the Winter Classic to the city of Chicago?
Oh, I mean, it's absolutely huge. I mean, you got, all them people, like, being not from Illinois, I mean, Wrigley Field is just iconic. I mean, it's just where it is. I mean, you have to go see Wrigley Field. You have to go to a game. I mean, the Winter Classic, aside from getting in and out of Wrigley Field, it's going to bring a lot of attention to, the city of Chicago. And it's great. I mean, there's no other way around it.
I mean, we don't have to go to Wrigley Field. I mean, if us White Sox fans don't think that way. I'm sorry. I thought I was talking to myself. But.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you might.
I grew up like I was a White Sox fan. I was a GN growing up. He was my dude. Rob Ventura. Frank Thomas. All them guys. But, I mean, my brother's a big, Cubs fan. So is my little nephew. We used to go to like the Bears. Their training camp, and then we'll go catch a game over at Wrigley. And I'm not a Cubs fan myself, obviously, but it's just one of them places that you got to see. It's bucket list worthy.
Well, I guess now, guys, I have to burn my Louisville Bats stuff, and now I have to become a Cubs fan because the Smokies in Knoxville are the AA affiliate for the Cubs. So
that's right.
I got
some baseball, baby.
Yeah, but I'm ready to go watch some baseball soon, man. When the season starts, so it's going to be fun, guys. The Winter Classic, more stuff's going to start coming out. This is just started coming out here over the last hour or so about that coming in 2025. Which is
see how up to date you make us, Coop.
Dude, when I'm not on top of talking about Luke Bryan and Taylor Swift, man, I can tell you, man, I can really find stuff.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
Hey,
all country, man. We could talk all country.
Rest in peace, Toby Keith.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, we did a very good tribute on my radio station yesterday about Toby.
Good,
Keith, man. So it was pretty cool, man, and it's sad. And rest in peace, Toby Keith, who a lot of us grew up listening to.
Everything I've heard about that guy was he's just an absolute quality human.
All about the military, and I mean, the dude was just a class act. So
yeah.
Thank you guys for watching tonight. We got a couple of minutes left. Thank you for liking and subscribing. You do that on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page. You can follow us along. And we can't do this without our friends at Budget Cars. As you're looking for a car, especially the winter time, you need something that's reliable. It's 3 generations of friends and families serving Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana since 1972. You can call them at 219-874-5180 or 219-873-3988. Also, TC World of Wonders is actually, Brian, your neck of the woods down in Louisville. So we're talking about the Blackhawks. Heck, we're talking about the Winter Classic. You can get your Connor Bedard jersey, but baseball is on my mind, actually, as we get ready here for spring training. I'm going to need my South Side jersey here soon for our 100-loss White Sox team that I want to wear to the games that we're not going to win at. So I am to be sure to pick up my jersey from TC's World of Wonders. You guys can do the same. It could be any team, though, not just my White Sox, but Cubs, any team you want. Visit them at tcsworldofwonders.com. And then Serendipity Ice Cream Parlor, We love them. They've been on with us for a very long time. You can check them out. Griffith, Indiana, that's Serendipity Ice Cream Parlor, and Bridges Scoreboard, Northwest Indiana, Chicago Sports Headquarters. They got the Hall of Fame menu. Watch the games. They got delicious food. I can tell you from being there a couple of times, I would totally go back there for their wings because their wings are amazing. So you can check that out as well. Guys, very quickly, before we wind up tonight, before we leave tonight, I'm just going to go around the room and get your pick for the game on Sunday. And CB, I am going to start with you, man. Who do you got?
I want San Francisco to win. I'm hoping for a good game. Just like the 49ers and Lions game, they came back and made it competitive again. But hope it's a good game. But I'm rooting for the Niners. My aunt's a 49er fan, so she deserves it after the last couple of times they've went.
So they're going to come back. CB, you got 49ers. All right, Brian, what about you, man?
I'm kind of agree at the same time. I want the 49ers to win. I don't like dynasties unless it's the Bears. So I want to kill that immediately. My whole heart is rooting for me, even though the Robbie Goldless 49ers. I want them to win, but if I had to bet on it, I would say the Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah, all right, Dano. So we got one 49ers, one Chiefs, man. I know you're the Chiefs guy. So are you going with the Chiefs or?
I mean, I'll be rooting for the 49ers, but until Patrick Mahomes proves me otherwise, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. So I got to go Chiefs.
All right, JB. Everybody's got one 49ers. Everybody else Chiefs. How about you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tight game. Last year, I wrote down the score of the game before the game, and I nailed it exactly. So that was my.
You better put a bet down.
Yeah, that was like 90 seconds of my 15 minutes of fame right there. But yeah, I honestly, they're so well matched. The thing that concerns me about San Francisco is Detroit showed Kansas City the blueprint of how to shut down McCaffrey. And so that puts really the whole offense into a passing mode if Kansas City can replicate that. And when you look at head coaches and you look at quarterbacks and playoff experience, I have to give the edge to Kansas City, but I think it is going to be a brutal game, very, very close and very hard fought. I've got Kansas City 31, San Francisco 27.
Oh, very close one. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a hard time betting against Patrick Mahomes myself. I want the 49ers to win. I think if there's any year they can do it, it would be this year. I like their position players very much. I like their coaching staff. I just can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. So I think the Chiefs, it's going to be a close game. I do think it's going to be a close game. And I think a couple of turnovers here and there. I think the Chiefs defense find a way to create a couple of turnovers and win this game. So I'm going to do a low scoring game. I'm going to do 2017 Kansas City winning this game. But I am going to be cheering for the 49ers. And hopefully they can get it done, and we'll see what happens. We'll be talking about it next week, guys, when we're back here. Hey, I also want to let you guys know tomorrow night there is not going to be a show. Normally, Pikey has a show tomorrow night. There will not be a show tomorrow night as we await the final confirmation for Team Mongo for Steve Mongo McMichael, the Hall of Fame, which is going to be CBS tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Time. So we're going to be keeping our fingers crossed. We want to thank everybody that's been with us the entire time supporting for Team Mongo. We have been on our podcast and everywhere else and on this channel on the Chicago Sports Podcast. So thank you all so very much. We're going to be with that tomorrow night, excited for that tomorrow night. So we're going to all be there together and hopefully get that good news, guys. Get him in because, man, that guy so freaking deserves it. So
2 more Bears.
Appreciate that. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Hopefully Hester too.
We're hoping Devin Hester, and that would be cool itself to see Devin Hester get into, man, because I think he's changed the way we all watched him. He changed the way return game and special teams is in the NFL. So that's tomorrow, guys.
If it wasn't for him, the kickoff would still be on the 20.
That's right.
Still be a wedge.
So it's going to be an eventful night, guys. So we appreciate you guys so much for watching tonight, the Chicago Sports Podcast, Monsters of the Madhouse. YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and like that on our Facebook page as well. And thank you guys, CV, Brian, for the first time. Glad to have you on here, man.
Thanks.
Dano, glad to see you back, man. Looking good. And JB, man, even you just get in at the end there. It's always happy to see you as well.
It is my pleasure to slide in and then at least have part of the show with the geniuses in this group.
Well, we all think Dano is a genius. Yes. So
Yes.
just look at it. He looks great. All right, guys. So we'll talk next week, guys. We'll follow us along on our page. We're going to talk again next week about the game and everything else Chicago sports. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Thanks so much for watching.